Shift the way you lead, the way you live. Clarity, courage, change. Because your next level won't wait. This is Monday MindShift, the clarity you've been craving, the shift you didn't know you needed. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Let me zoom this out. I'm Sean Michael, and welcome to Monday MindShift. Leslie, welcome. I see your comment in the chat. If you're joining, please let me know you're here. Say hi. Tell me about something on my forehead or whatever. Tell me where you're watching from, whether you're an OG and you've been here before, or this is your first time on Monday MindShift. I'm glad to have you. Michael, welcome. So, as I was saying, welcome back. If you're new, this is Monday MindShift, so pull up a chair. We're currently 5 episodes into the Identity Under Pressure series. Every episode has named a different kind of pressure. We've been exploring what happens when your conditions stop cooperating. Episode 1 was about success outpacing your identity. Our second episode, we looked at AI disruption. The third episode, we looked at the cost of being the calm one. Last week on episode 4, we looked at the roots of hustle. Today, we're going, Mike LeBlanc, welcome, and Bill, welcome. Today, we're looking at the relationship side of this. Because there's a specific kind of pressure that comes from the people around you who know you best, because they remember a version of you that doesn't exist any longer. And part of you is probably trying to protect it. Today, I want to start with a question, and I want you to sit with this question. Don't rush to answer. When was the last time someone who loves you held you back? Tell me about it in the comments. Maybe it was a family dinner, a room you outgrew, your hometown. I'll come back to this question later. But first, let me name what happens when you step into those rooms. Kenny, welcome. Many people are living a double life. Not the loud and headline type of version. It's the quiet one. A version of you that exists in certain spaces. It's the version that your parents know. The one that showed up at your first job. This version carried a specific energy and played a specific role. It knew how to be acceptable. And there's another version of you that's been quietly building something new. And that version asks totally different questions. It wakes up thinking about things that the old room could never grasp. This quiet growth opens a gap. By the time you notice the change, the rooms that you've been in, you figure out that they're static. You go home for the holidays, and in 20 minutes, it feels like 5 years of growth is undone. Because that room runs an old operating system. Those people know how to push your buttons. So, what do? We often start performing that old version that fit. We get smaller. Good morning, Leanna, Sharon, Rose. Kimberly, welcome. In those spaces, you feel yourself getting smaller. And when it's over, on your way home, you feel that grief. Let's reframe that, though, because it's not an issue of what you think it is. Wow. Atmosphere pressure just, I don't know, maybe a volcano went off. What it is, it's an issue of your self-concept, your current identity. And underneath that is a question that has to do with permission or authorization. So my question here, who gets to confirm that your growth is real? Do you find yourself waiting for those people who first knew you to grant you that permission? I want to tell you, they can't. Because they don't know the new person, the new version of you. What you're doing is you're handing them the wheel and giving them authority over your expansion. Kenya. Oh no, not Kenya. Not Kenya. I heard about Kenya. Let's see. Mike says boundaries are buttress. Wait, let's go back to Bill. Yes, Bill, we usually do outgrow parental expectations or expectations of people who knew us 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You know, they knew us in the past. They knew a different version of us. And Mike says boundaries are being buttressed, which necessitates adjustments in relationships. Those that don't or can't support growth, I back away from those interactions. Good on you, Mike. That's what it takes, right? We have to let it go, right? We don't have to force ourselves into that old box. They don't hold the keys. That authorization, that permission, it only comes from one place. You, me. If we're waiting for that, all we're doing, as I said, is we're transferring ownership to someone else. And that's crazy. Ask forgiveness, not permission kind of kid. That can be dangerous, Sharon, can't it? And it can ruffle a lot of feathers. But that's okay, right? We don't need to be afraid of ruffling feathers, because some people will get ruffled because they are not familiar with the updated version. That's great, Mike. They lost authority. We can say that, but the checkpoint is internal, and only each of us can answer that for ourselves. Is how true is that? So I'm way ahead. Actually, my structure of my notes is a little different than it is normally. All right. So those from past identities won't let or acknowledge growth because it doesn't serve them. Right. Right. They were comfortable. They know how to deal with previous versions, version 1.0, 2.0, and you're up at 3.0 or 5.0. And that's part of the growth, right? Is some rooms will expand with us, some won't. Some people will expand with us, some won't. And that's the lesson, right? Is we have to decide, we have to look at and learn. Of course, we grieve the lost relationships, but we grieve and we move on, just like the normal grief process. We go through our grief process and then we move on. The trouble comes when we keep falling back into the same trap, right? One thing that comes to mind is fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That old quote comes to mind right here. And Roel adds a great comment here. Another person is just a mirror. Exactly. We maintain ownership of what we do with the reflection. And that's the thing, Roel. Like, often we can struggle because their feedback isn't up to date, right? It's from previous and from their normal. And one thing that's really helped me as a principle I learned in some of my training is that every person around me is doing the best that they can with the resources they currently have available. Looking at others, looking at life like that was revolutionary. Like, okay, that person at that time was operating not from malintent, but they were doing the best they knew how based on what they had available to them, the knowledge, the resources, etc. I'm in session, honey, please. You're still on camera. All right. Got a little crisis, my son. You, what are we upset about? What are you upset about? Did mommy tell you to stop doing something?
No.
Did you hurt yourself?
Yes.
I'm sorry you hurt yourself.
Also, she thought I was getting and I'm just trying to wash myself because I did get wet.
Yeah, you did get a little wet. Because we're going soon, honey. All right. Can I finish? All right. So, any more comments? Yes, each of us are created as a sovereign soul. And that's part of the growth, isn't it, Sharon? Is owning that sovereignty, like realizing we're sovereign and acting from it, right? You've changed. Well, I hope so. But yes, that often comes off as a criticism. Yeah, Rob, they need, he's 8, so he's like, I need daddy now. The daddy's busy, that doesn't even register. Um, we were having a little misunderstanding, so he was upset. All right. So back on track. That's okay. I can handle deflection like that or diversion. Let's look at the 2-chair exercise. So if you've been here before, you know how this works. If you're new, follow along. Yeah, Kenny, isn't that the beauty of live stream is you never know what's going to happen. And if you learn to just roll with it, you get through it, right? Tech issues, whatever, kids having a breakdown, whatever, just roll. Um, walk through it. So if you're new and you're not familiar with this 2-chair exercise, just follow along. It's pretty simple to follow. The 2 chairs, look at them as 2 versions of you. And the question is, which chair are you really sitting in? Chair 1 is the old you and the room that knows that version of you. It existed for a purpose. It existed for a season. It had a role to fulfill in that time and place. It didn't take up a lot of space. It stayed in the edges of what the group could handle. Absolutely, too many on the blame and complain train. Sharon. The second chair is the you've been working on, the newer, updated version of you. The version that asks dangerous questions out loud. And it's learned to redefine success on entirely new terms. Each of them serves a different purpose. Chair 1 got you to where you are. It got you through whatever you were going through. And then over time, you started spending time in chair 2, more and more. And the people in the old rooms, they stopped recognizing you, as Sharon shared, right? You've changed. You're so different now, right? And that is often when we start to feel that guilt, right? So here's a little reflection question. Feel free to drop the answer as reserved or honest as you care. What do you hide when you walk back into those old rooms? All I ask is honesty with yourself. You owe me nothing, but be honest with yourself. When you walk into those rooms, what do you hide? One word, one sentence, whatever you feel like adding. So let's name a hard truth today. The guilt we feel is just evidence of borrowed permission. We grew, and others maintained a baseline. It's a natural con- it's a natural consequence of growing, right? When you decided to improve yourself, to develop yourself, this is part of the territory, right? This is what comes with growth and expansion, is that some people aren't going to level up with you. They're going to be at their baseline. Perhaps you have a story that you picked up, probably, that expansion requires exclusion, and that becoming unrecognizable breaks some type of sacred bond. And I want to acknowledge the weight of that. Some of you might have been managing this friction quietly for years. You find yourself shrinking in some rooms and expanding in others. Rob and Sharon, those are deep. Those are deep. Thanks for sharing. And I will come back to all that. I mentioned this before. You operate in bilingualism. You know how to speak in your old way and your new way. So you're constantly code switching, right? Based on the situation, based on the room, the group, who's around you. It's a cost associated with growing, and your language to explain it hasn't caught up. And it's heavy. Some relationships do update. They have the range to meet you where you are currently. But other relationships, they're not ready for the shift. They don't want to deal with the shift because they had a contract that was written for the past version of both of you. The challenge is you've updated your version, some haven't. The work becomes, or is, deciding which version you want to embody. Because loyalty to a room that doesn't see you as you are today, it's erasure, slow and steady erasure. So I asked you at the beginning about being held back by someone who loves you. That happens at the edge of who you're becoming. You find yourself looking over your shoulder, waiting for someone to say, it's okay, move on, go. The problem is that person might not exist in those old rooms. They loved that version that was built for that season. So they cannot authorize the person you're becoming because they haven't met that version yet. So when will you stop seeking permission from those who lack the context to actually give it. I want to leave you with a final question, and then I'm going to go look at comments. What would you build if you no longer needed that permission? Let that do the work. Because your answer to that, that's the power that will activate the work for you. All right, so we looked at that one. Compassion and gratitude, the key, yes, for sure, Sharon. Rob, when you say lived it, I'm guessing you're talking about the interruptions from little ones. Absolutely, Sharon. He does have so much to teach. He's actually one of my greatest teachers, and he may not even realize it. All right, so some of the shares when I asked about and Leah shared my ability to shine in my leadership role, insecurity, everything. This is true, Sharon. Not everyone deserves access. And when we realize that and we act accordingly from that, things start to change. Oh, yes, Rob, the combos in our head that can get quite loud, can't they? The operating system is obsolete, yes. It's like running Windows ME right now or Windows XP. Me was bad from the get-go. I was just talking to a developer about this. Windows ME was terrible. It was a nightmare. XP was decent, but it was for a season, right? If you are running XP or prior versions, it's time to update. Right? My laptop, I recently upgraded to the latest OS 26, which is this year. And at first it was difficult to get used to because a lot of things changed. And it's the same with our internal OS. When we update the OS, things are going to act different. They're going to look different. They're going to feel different. But don't let that pull you back. Like, keep running on it. You'll get used to it. And then you can do the next update, which will bring the challenges again, and you'll get used to it. And this is the core, is because when we learn to trust ourselves, and when I say that, I don't mean, that I always get the right answer or always know. What I mean is, whatever happens, trusting yourself that whatever happens, I know I can get through to the other side. I'll get through it. I'll survive. That's the self-trust, is whatever comes. When someone shows that mirror from their previous operating system, I can deal with it. All right, Mike's got a big one here. Many years ago, I shrank to the point of near loss of self-identity. That's big. That's huge. And been there, done that. I used to have the t-shirt, but it wore out. I wore it so much. some think it is too strong, too arrogant, too egoistic, or there's a whole list of words that they might see it as. But one thing I've learned is, it was said before, what the feedback from others is just a mirror. We own the choice. What will I do with it? Is it even true today? Right? Maybe it was true in the past. But maybe it's not true now. But you have to decide that. They don't get to decide. You make a valid point, Sharon. If someone truly loves you unconditionally, but when's the last time you've seen someone actually demonstrate truly unconditional love? I think I do a pretty good job with my son, but I know I make mistakes and I falter. At least Lay says 100%, the committee. Well, fire the board. That's what I say. Fire the board. They don't belong. They were for, under different management. Management has updated. And I say that humorously, but I understand it's not that easy. It takes work, right? Self-trust is absolutely critical. And right, take what you like, mine the gold, throw out the, I don't remember what they call it, but I lived in California near gold country, so we went and saw the whole gold country tour and how they mine. And they had these hydraulic mining systems. It's basically a giant water hose that blasts the mountain. And then when all the mountain is flowing down, they have a system that catches the gold and everything else moves on. So yes, when others critique, give feedback, whatever you want to call it, it's up to us to look at it and say, is that valuable? Is it helpful? Is it applicable in my current version? And let the rest float on by, right? Separate the wheat from the chaff, as the Bible says. The chaff has no value, the wheat does. That's amazing, Rob, that you had the demonstration of the highest level of love. What they call in Greek agape loves, right? It's a love that's, as Sharon says, rare, but it does exist. And that's a valid point, Sharon. It's got to start with loving ourselves, right? We learn to love ourselves unconditionally. You cannot give to others what you can't give to yourself. You have to love yourself. Not, I would even say, we might say, oh, in spite of your flaws. No, I actually say, love yourself because of your flaws, because of your shortcomings and weaknesses. Love them. The dark side, your shadow side, love it, right? Love every molecule of your being, of your spirit, of your soul, with all your mind, your strength, your heart, your soul. Right? Bible says, right? 2 greatest commandments. And I'm not trying to get all religious here, but this fits, right? It says, love God above, above everything. And the other one says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And I look at it like this way: God, Buddha, whatever your higher power is, you love and honor and lift it. Your inner perfect self, whatever. You love that with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. And then you love others as you love you. Right? Sharon said that earlier. Absolutely. Just because someone says it doesn't make it true. You have to evaluate, is it true? And I would say there's 2 questions here. There was a book I read with my son from Dr. Daniel Amen. I think it was about dealing with ants, automatic negative thoughts, ants. And it gave the kids 2 questions. Really simple technique. You don't have to get all crazy. Fire the board. Is it absolutely true? And is it 100% provable to be true 100% of the time? Because we make mistakes, right? If someone says, well, you're always late, maybe you were late 100 times in the year. That's like twice a week. But are you always late? No. Have you made it on time? Have you made it early? Probably. So that blanket statement of always true, right? If someone says you always do this or you never do that, you have to look. Is it never? Is it always? Because if there's one time it didn't happen or one time it did happen, always and never don't apply. You can just throw them out. Mike says, I listen to input, I decide what I'll apply. As an empath, yeah. Well, that might be another topic to talk about, Mike, because I was in a very powerful discussion and it was talking about often we label ourselves as empath. We mislabel ourselves empath. Because empath just means you can understand what other people feel. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to take the hits. Never and always are never true, and they're always wrong. How about that? I love that, Rob. Don't deal in absolutes. Yeah, I have a list over here. As a reminder, these are words that I'm progressively erasing from my vocabulary. And it starts, don't forget, or don't anything. Because what happens when you say, if I say, don't think of a pink elephant, most of you thought of a pink elephant because you can't not think about a pink elephant without thinking about it first. So saying don't almost always means it does. Right? If you have a small child and you say, don't spill your milk, what usually happens? They spill it. The next one, but. because whatever you say before but gets erased, right? I love you, but I thought you said you love me. If you do, what's the but there for? Right? We can swap that. I love you and I would like you to should, yep, that's on the list, Mike. Have to, I have to do that. I have to blah blah blah. Always never and sorry when it's not needed. We should be very, very intentional with sorry and apologies. Working with an English learner once, they made a mistake and I gave them a gentle correction. And they're like, oh, sorry. I'm like, please, you don't need to say sorry for an error, especially because it's what we call a fossilized error, a butt joke. Well, my little guy, he's been on this Uranus rampage lately. We're packing the house because we're moving, and so he was seeing like his old solar system, and he got on this whole jokes about Uranus, even though like one of the videos he used to watch called it Uranus. And I'm like, what are they talking about, Uranus? Like, I remember Uranus. Like, anyway, word plays. Yes, and that's exactly what I'm saying, Sharon. Is people we have to be intentional about our word choice, whether it's always and never, any of the rest of them. Be intentional with your word choice. I hear, I've seen, I've heard people say he's such a narcissist. We can't make that judgment. He acts like a narcissist. He has narcissistic behavior, but you don't know if they're a narcissist. Only one I can know if I'm a narcissist is me. That's one thing I've learned is we love to throw labels. Oh, I'm an empath. She's a narcissist. Blah 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 blah. Do we really know? Yeah, we have Jung's teaching and other teachings that tell us about it. But unless we're inside the head of that person, what do we really know? Do they have tendencies? Do they have behavior? But people are not their behavior. Oh, sorry is so automatic, Sharon. So, Christy, you made it. Welcome, welcome. So, going back to the teaching, right? So, fire the board. Some rooms we need to stop going to. If they're causing us to shrink, we need to strengthen the new version so we can sit in chair 2 more and let that version of ourselves drive the bus, right? Who's driving the bus? That's what we have to ask. And are you okay with that bus driver, or is it time to change the bus driver? Again, I can't make that decision for you. But I love Dale Carnegie's quote that I saw on How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said, if you're happy and content with the way things are, why change? But if you're not, why not experiment? Right? If things are not exactly how you want them, try something new. Let chair 2 drive more often. Stay out of those rooms that you feel the need to shrink. That does present a problem, Rob. And you kind of have to evaluate. I would say, for me, I look at the room like, do I need to be there? Because I understand sometimes we can't avoid the room. It's part of our work, our business. And for now, I need to continue to be in that room. But how can I act from chair 2 instead of chair 1, where I'm shrinking, ducking, and hiding, like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm just over here. I'm just going to be old me for today. And when do we learn to stand up? And as I said, I'm not talking about being arrogant. I'm not talking about going in and being a narcissistic jerk or anything like that. But, speaking your mind, speaking your what needs to be said, and not shrinking, not masking up. Right? Now, if you're on a plane and it loses cabin pressure, please go ahead and mask up. But if you're in a room that you've previously shrunk in, work on not masking up. Because, my thing I say now, stop performing, start becoming. And I have a free offer this week that I just finished building. I need to create a new link. I haven't created it yet because I've got a yucky link right now. But I've been building an agentic communication tool. And several people asked, could I try it out? Especially coaches, because it's meant for coaches. Like, the main system will be for coaches to use with their clients to support them better between sessions, right? Because often we go see a coach, we meet with them, everything, we're like, yeah. And then we go back to those old rooms, maybe all 6 of them, Rob, right? And we find ourselves shrinking. We find ourselves adapting to fit in that old room. And we're looking at ourselves and we're going, why do I do that? So this engine that I've built, and it's framework agnostic, so a coach can install their type of coaching, their language, etc. Absolutely, Sharon. I was thinking that. You put it into words what was in my thoughts. Staying silent strategically is very different from shrinking, masking, hiding. And again, I can't make that judgment. Only you can. I can make it for myself, and that's the only person I can. So I will, let's see. So the link will be, it's not live yet. but it'll be dailypowerboost.com/IBE. What it is, it's the website. You can go, you can sign up. I ask one thing, your name and your email. That's it. You get 3 interactions. It will ask you questions. You answer those questions honestly. At the end of the 3rd question, when you've given your answer, it will give you a report. You will get it on screen and it will go to your email. That's why I asked for the email. So feel free to drop by there. You can run it. It is a one-shot deal. So once you run it, it won't let you run it again. But you can just have a conversation. Whatever is shared, it's in a secure server. So it's not going to leak out there. Like, I can't promise 100%, but it's in high security protection. And you can interact with it, get the report. And I'd love to hear if you do it. If you go to that dailypowerboost.com/IBE and you run through it, let me know how you think about it, what you think about it. Give me your opinions. It's trying something out. It's experiment. Like I said, many people wanted to try it, so I'm letting people try it. Barely feel the need to shrink, but the room costs me energy, as you call it. Tier 2, getting pulled back into Tier 1. Example, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. That means taking challenges on. The person who likes safety, preaching, do the safe thing costs energy. Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right. I have 8 minutes. Anybody's up for it, feel free to join the stage. I'd love to hear from you, your questions, your comments. If you just want to be on stage and say hi, that's cool too. No need to be on video. You can be audio only. But if anybody's willing, I'd love to hear from you. And while we're waiting, here's another question. Thinking about a room you walked back into recently that didn't fit. What happened in your body when you stepped in? So think about a room an old room that you stepped back into. What was the immediate feeling in your body? Because your body will tell you what's going on before your mind catches up. Sharon will validate that. Because our body knows before our mind does. Or if you've made a choice to stop performing an old version, what did it cost you? What did it give you back? Right? Some of you have already shared that, the cost and the payoff. But I'd love to hear it. And a final question, if you want to answer. What would it mean to let those people in those old rooms meet who you are today? What would that mean? What could that mean if you let them meet the current version of you? No matter what, yeah, I've had that feeling, Rob. You walk in and it's like, That used to be me. I'm glad I'm not there anymore. For sure. Anyway, I want to say thank you to everybody that was here today. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your presence, taking time out of your day, because I value that. Because I always talk about this, right? Money, things, energy, that's all renewable. You can save it, you can budget it, you can get more of it. But your time is precious because you can't save it, you can't get more of it. So the fact that you showed up today, I acknowledge that. I celebrate that, and I thank you for it. Please feel free to test out the identity breakthrough engine. Let me know your thoughts. Give me some feedback. I can handle it. Yeah, it is very exhausting playing the chameleon. That used to be my nickname because I could blend in anywhere. I won't do that anymore because it was emotionally, physically, spiritually draining. They can put sunglasses on, Mike, right? The light of the sun will blind you if you look at it. But, in your photo, you've got the shades on, so let them put some sunglasses on if your light's too bright. Or, we go looking for the rooms that celebrate your light. Rob, I found if all the rooms like me, that was a question I started asking, like, why do they like me? Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week for episode 6, which I think is the final episode. Thanks again for your time, your presence, your comments, all of it, your sharing. Take care. Have an amazing week. Until next time, be blessed. Don't stress. As the book says, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. And step into chair 2 more this week. Bye-bye.
In the shadow of a mirror, where the past holds tight, he walks in with fire, igniting the night. A truth seeker's vision, he shines through the black. With every step forward, he won't look back, telling tales of struggle. The masks we wear, we're bound by the labels, lost in the snare. Time to break free from those chains of doubt. With his voice like